Gentlemen, I'm Olivier Denoo. For those who don't know me yet, I'm the president of the ISTQB and the French testing boards, which is also part of the ISTQB. And I'm leading a software testing company in Belgium and in France. Okay, so the presentation of today is who's afraid of the big bad AI? AI is something that is booming, right? We hear that every day. We read that every day in the magazines, on the web. We see a lot of products saying they are using AI intensively. And basically speaking, when I speak to people, I hear a lot of them being afraid of being replaced by an AI sooner or later. And this presentation is about this and some drawbacks from the AI. I'm not going to speak about technicalities of the AI. I'm totally incapable of doing that. I'm not technical enough. But we will look at the AI from a totally different angle, which is ethics, which is our responsibility as testers of using and testing AIs. So first of all, I heard yesterday from Marcus that he was totally obsessed by Chopin. And personally, well, I had to make a stand because this is some kind of, speakers contest. So I'm also a musician, not at all. And I'm not obsessed about Chopin, I'm obsessed about Bach. So this is me playing Bach. Shh. Religious. Ain't it beautiful? Am I not brilliant? Say I'm brilliant, come on, it was a long party yesterday, it was. Yeah, thank you.
Olivier Denoo, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Basically, this is me playing Bach. And it's not even a keyboard, this is a computer keyboard, and it's all a fraud, it's all a fake. I cannot play the keyboard, I cannot play Bach at all. This is an AI behind that. This is Google AI. So basically speaking, what you had to do on this little Google Doodle was to put something on the keyboard, and the AI behind was analyzing your stuff, making sure that it goes together in a nice way, putting and arranging your whatever crap stuff you entered there into some kind of musical partition, and go through 300 pieces or masterpieces from Johannes Bach to make your stuff looking like and hearing like Johannes Bach stuff. And first of all, you are amazed. It is the wow stuff. Oh, look, I can play Bach. That is absolutely wonderful. I did not touch a piano for a single day of my life, and I can do that. But then the second thing that you think of is, geez, I'm totally has-been. If a computer can do that with the kind of crap input I put in there, I'm gone. I have no future in here. Anyone who read Dan Brown's last book about AI? Haven't read that? It's wonderful, eh? The future of humanity, according to Dan Brown, is a mix of us and the computer. You heard yesterday Baris saying that our devices, our mobile device, we want to be part of us. We want that to be part of us. And you see that you have this implant, you see that you have these kind of devices that you can get into your body to help you see if you haven't seen before, to help you hear if this is existing for years, if you have some kind of hearing impaired. These kind of things. This is our future, or is it not? I made this presentation a couple of times and I update it all the times. This is extremely new. It just happened to, you see, after 20 years of conference, I'm still, shaking a bit. Oracle and Future Workplace, okay? And this is about AI coming into our everyday lives. And you see that AI is getting into credit. It will calculate based upon your past historical data, whatever, the kind of bonus or the kind of premium that you will pay if you go for an insurance. If you want to get a credit, they will calculate the risk, and then you will get the differentiated interest rate. HR. Now you have AI coming into the HR sphere. So you might be hired by a computer in a couple of years, which is terrible, okay? And this Oracle and Future Workplace has been run on 8 100,000 employees, manager, and HR leaders in 10 different countries, and 53% said they are optimistic and excited about having robot coworkers. Okay, no big surprise till then. But this is more annoying or surprising. 64 would trust a robot more than their manager in delivering unbiased content. Ain't it fabulous? Basically, this is heavily in India and China, but if you come to France and UK, which are the least enthusiastic people, it's still more than 50%. So 1 out of 2 in this room or in the world think that computers are more impartial than their managers. 36 think that robots are better than managers at providing unbiased information, and 71 don't want to use that now because of security. But security is just the technicality stuff. It's nothing to do with this 64 and 36, which is the real issue in there. If we come to the testing world, and you just type AI and testing tools and these kind of things, we see a lot of things happening. Most of them are buzzwords. I'm not quite sure that there is a real AI behind, but basically they sell as there is. And what we need to consider at this time is that our profession, our job as a tester has dramatically evolved over the years. 20 years ago, it was clear. Tester was a job, and we had to convince the world that tester was a different kind of, skill set and a job. This was about the debate yesterday, or part of it. But today we're working in an agile world. True agile, not true agile, I don't care. Never mind, it's not important. What is important is that we consider we are agile, that we need to collaborate, and then the tester role is evolving a lot. You have this DevOps, you have all these kind of things where testers are becoming a little bit more blurry, I would say. And basically, because we are heavily relying on automation these days, AI has a role to play. So basically speaking, we are becoming less visible, we are becoming less standardized or structured or whatever, we're losing consistency, and you have this automation heavily relying on AI. So our future is at stake. This is the big bad AI phenomenon. Ooh, I'm afraid. Okay, let's talk about something else. Basically speaking, we are all technical people in this room, most of us. And I would dare to say all of us. And we love technique. And we've been told that technique and engineering is something good. This is the Hollywood movies. This is the Hollywood effect. This robot knows everything, can do everything. He can dismantle a whole spaceship if you wish to. If you ask a computer, hey, can you tell me what time is it in Bangkok or whatever, the computer replies immediately. When you look at these science fiction movies, computers are superpowers. They know everything better than you do, right? Today, this is true reality in our smartphones. Hey Google, hello Siri, hey Cortana, can you tell me what is the best restaurant in place? Where is the next coffee shop? Where can I find whatever? Okay? You have also the other side, which is the bad computer. HAL 9000, Ava, if you haven't seen the movie Ex Machina, I recommend it. Terminator, Detroit, this is a game, a French game, Become Human. Very interesting because it touches something that will come in my presentation a bit later, which is the notion of empathy. Not empathy for the devil, but empathy for the AI, basically. Really interesting topic. And, okay, this is HAL 9000. Okay, normally you should have heard Alexa, but I don't know if... whatever. So what are we talking about? We are talking about AI. What is AI? Just a couple of definitions, usually accepted definitions. I will not enter into some sort of expert debate in here. Artificial intelligence is a program that can sense, okay, reason, act, and adapt. Sense, easy to understand. You have sensors, you send data to the computer, and the computer reacts. That's fine. So reacts or act, that's fine. Adapting, I can still understand. Reason, maybe, maybe not. We'll see. We have the machine learning stuff. Machine learning are algorithms whose performance improve and as they are exposed to more data over time. So basically, and this is absolutely key here, data. AI is data. It gets data in and it releases percentage, risk, whatever. And deep learning is still a smaller subset, which is a subset of machine learning in which multi-layered neural networks learn from vast amount of data. So again, data is key. Data, but also learning. You've seen the word learning. I will ask every one of you here to think a little bit about your former studies. Can you remember a good professor of yours? Somebody who helped you in life, somebody who opened your eyes to something, somebody who just pushed you a little bit in the back so that you grow better, you grow faster, you grow, you grow. As simple as that. Can you remember these guys? I think that everyone in the room can remember that guy. Was that guy helpful to you? Did you need that supervision? Or can you just, start learning on your own and then do everything from scratch on your own and without supervision at all? Do you need these eye-opener guys? I think we all do. This is not my professor, by the way. This is just a, kind of bank image, but whatever. So, AI nurtures from data, and it produces statistics. But if we're talking about data, which is quite common today, because data is really the new petrol, I would say, we can think about how representative these data are. Do they represent the real world? Are we sure that the data we're using to train, to help these AI learn, do we realize if they represent the world, or the portion of the world that we want to represent, or not? Is it exhaustive? Meaning, do we take into account all the necessary cases, including the exceptions? This is not a new problem, by the way. Everyone that is testing is confronted to the problem of data. The test environment. This is one of the masterpieces of a test plan. This is one of the masterpieces of any testing activity at all. Okay? Which sort of data are we going to use? Which sort of test cases are we going to build from this data? This is nothing special here. But there is something that is very special here with the AI. This is called biases. You know what biases is? It is just a way to shortcut the analysis of the data. And we have many biases, and most of them are unconscious biases. We don't even realize that we have that. One of the biggest bias is the confirmation bias. I tend to believe in something, and everything I receive as information tends to confirm what I already believed. An example, if I believe that Donald Trump is an incompetent president, everything he does, even if it's a good stuff, and it might happen that he does some good stuff from time to time, I will interpret that as a maneuver or as a way to distract or whatever, and I will confirm again that he's incompetent. And this is mostly unconscious. There are many, many psychological biases. Okay, what does it mean for an AI? Look at these brilliant people. I went to Google. Google is a big database. I think that we can all agree this is a search engine, and the business of Google, like the business of Facebook and some of these GAFA, this is data, this is the key, right? So you might say that Google is representing the world because, except from some isolated countries, Google is everywhere. And if you type in Google a word like CEO, and you go to the image page, this is what you get. This is the top of the image page, the image tab page of Google when you type CEO as a search. What is wrong with that? Guys, 2 women. Not so many women are CEO in these days. 3 persons are colored persons. I made a similar presentation in China, and I just told in front of an audience of 600 people Guys, it looks like there's no CEO in China. There's no CEO in China. This is the top of Google. Let's come to this one. Dealer. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're black, you're very unfortunate because there's a high chance that you're a dealer or you're a joke. This is visualization of potential data bias. Okay? Now, we can say, Olivier, you're just playing with words, you're just playing with notions. It's not true, it's not happening in real life. Google is much more better than this, and we have 10,000 pages. You just took the first top ranking, and these are celebrities, so that's normal. Okay, you can even question the fact that celebrities are old, white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant guys with few exceptions, but whatever. This happened already in the US. What happens in the US is that they have some sort of scoring system for lawsuits in court. Okay? And basically speaking, the same day, 2 persons were judged. And the first one is Vernon. Look at Vernon. Brilliant guy. And the second one is Brisha. Okay? Vernon had made a robbery, and he's already some, historical record before. And Brisha is just some sort of perturbated teenager. So you see, 4 juvenile misdemeanors. What happened with Brisha is that she stole a bike. In front of a house, she just passed by, and I don't know, she was tired or something, she just stole a bike. And she regrets. On the way back, she regrets. So she U-turns, go back to the house to, give it back, but the police is already there and she's arrested. This is her first theft attempt, and she's caught. The guy has, as you see, already some robberies in his history. But the scoring system with an AI gives you the percentage or the risk of recidive. And strange enough, Vernon has a risk of recidive of 3, and Brisha has a risk of recidive of 8. So Brisha goes to jail, and Vernon is released on probation. The problem is that Brisha has never made anything ever since, and Vernon was caught a couple of months later in a big arms theft. Ain't it fabulous? So you're stealing a bike or you're robbing a shop, and guess who's the winner? Now you might say, and the judge just said, well, I'm not sure that I use the AI scoring to, perform my judgment, whatever. Guys, Brisha is black. You might say, this is not happening in our countries. Yes, it is. Because in Estonia, they plan to use that kind of scoring system, not for this kind of criminal offense, for something that is lighter, for the kind of simple offenses, neighbors not getting along with each other, these kind of things. But still, this is a first step. This is happening. So guys, it's not about calculating your insurance policy premium or bonus. This is about your life. This is about how you will be judged. Learning. Tai? Tai is absolutely fantastic little AI. It was developed by Microsoft a couple of years ago, and it was supposed to interact on Twitter. Twitter is the new channel for the White House these days. And basically speaking, a couple of nerds got it and understood what was going on. So they just fed Tai with a lot of data and a lot of commands interacting with her, and she was just, kind of rookie AI, just learning how to interact with people. But the problem was that these people were tuning the conversation with Tai in some sort of way. And in just a couple of days on Twitter, Tai became a totally racistic, anti-feminist kind of, monster over the web, doing sexual proposals to the people, interacting with her, and so on and so forth. This is the kind of talk you can have with Tai after a couple of days or weeks interaction with these guys. This is how you learn from an AI perspective. So, of course, it was biased data. The problem when you have discovered the bias is that you try to put a remedy and try to solve it. But the problem is that by solving it, you might introduce a new bias. And it might be that if I want to, be a little bit more equal or a little bit more fair with the black people, let's say, or the women, or whatever category that is underestimated in the previous slides, I would try to overweight their contribution. But it can be that after a while, all CEO in the world will be women or black people, which is not true either. So that is very, very difficult to bring a positive discrimination to correct a negative discrimination. And it's about changing the data model. I'm not really afraid about the artificial intelligence, to be honest, and I'm not, against the artificial intelligence at all. But I'm prudent. I'm in the software testing for more than 20 years, and I've seen many bugs. And I've seen many confident people saying, yeah, that's cool, it works on my machine. Yeah, but your machine is not going to be sold to the customer, It has to work everywhere. And, well, basically, I'm just wondering who codes that stuff, who and how this is tested, and what is the data that is used, because these are key elements. And I fear about natural, and I would tend to say human stupidity, much more than artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is just what we made it. I'll give you some examples about how human can react and interact with artificial intelligence. This one is a very known case. This is Kasparov versus Big Blue, okay? Long time ago already, okay? You have the best chess player in the world, and he was trying to beat a computer, and they were even, and finally they had a third contest, and in this third contest, Kasparov gave up, and he was beaten by Big Blue. And it was, wow, the big victory of the machine over humans. So machines are superior to humans, okay? Basically speaking, rumors say at the time that Big Blue only won because of a bug. But you cannot prove it because it's been dismantled and replaced by new models and so on and so forth, okay? Basically speaking, what happened is that Big Blue moved a pawn on the chessboard in such a strange way that it would be sacrificed. And basically, professional chess players don't do that. I'm not a professional chess player, but I know that they don't do that. They do that if there is a strategy behind. And Kasparov was totally aghast. He didn't know what happened. And he was also suspecting, because these kind of guys have certain ego, he was suspecting that there were people behind. So he gave up. Basically speaking, I think that Big Blue didn't win, but it was just a question of time. Because chess, and today we see that with the game of Go, that is exactly the same, these are probabilistic games. And in this one, computers will always be superior because they calculate faster and they can see the different possibilities much faster than we do. They can anticipate much faster than we do. So this is just a matter of time. I don't know if you hear that. Okay, maybe you heard the track. This is Sofia. Sofia is a robot from Hanson Robotic, and she has a very mobile and very human-like face. And they just didn't put the hair because it would be too realistic, according to them. She has some kind of big robot body, and now she's got legs. Sofia has been speaking in the United Nations. She's a renowned citizen of the Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Baris. So she is very well known, okay? And the first time she was interviewed, so she went to late night shows and these kind of things in the US, and she was interviewed. And the first interview she got, she was asked, how about destroying humans? Like small talk kind of conversation. Well, how about destroying humans? Oh yeah, okay, that's good idea. Let's destroy humans. Geez. So of course, the developers there behind said, whoa, okay, we have an issue, so they tuned it a little bit. They just moved some screws here and there. And then a couple of years later, she was asked, how about destroying human again, in another interview. And of course, they were prepared. They're not stupid. They're selling their products, and Sofia is just a marketing machine. So basically speaking, they just tuned a little bit. And she said, no, you're reading too much Elon Musk, which is kind of adversary to the AI. Strange enough, because he's developing it heavily in his Tesla cars, but whatever. And you're watching too many Hollywood movies, which is true. This is exactly what I said in the beginning. And this one is, really freaking frightening me. I'm an empathic robot. Not true. We'll come to that. And if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. Jesus Christ, ladies and gentlemen, how can I be nice to Sofia? What do you want, my USB key, a little bit of oil? What can I do? Sorry. Okay. Senses can be fooled, but senses too. And guys, what I hear in the AI stuff, it's always, like I heard 20 years ago from the developers in classic software development, it is a matter of version. It will work on next version. This is just a matter of technique. Technique will evolve and it... No. Guys, this is not a matter of technique. This is not a matter of time. This is a matter of reasoning. This is a matter of essence. This is a matter of philosophy. That's much more than technique. It's not a technical issue that we're facing here. This is a real human issue, okay? Let me tell you about technique. You see a truck. I just add what people who are doing some pics know as noise. This is increasing the grain in the picture, making it more, grainy. If you add noise to the truck picture, what do you see? Do you still see a truck? From an AI perspective, this is an ostrich. If you just add the same sort of noise to an AI mechanism, face recognition mechanism, you can change gender. So suddenly you put noise over my face and I become Olivia. Nice to serve you. Ain't it wonderful? I can't help it. I was born with a mustache. This is my first mustache and I still have it. And I put mustache everywhere, especially on the traffic signs. If you put a mustache on the traffic sign and you can still read 30 kilometers an hour, okay? For the English one, 30 miles. If you give this to an AI that is recognizing the traffic panels and the traffic signals over the road, it won't be able to recognize it. This is a matter of time. This is a matter of technology. Yeah, right. Tell that to the guy who's just been, right into the truck with his Tesla while he was not driving. Okay, version 2.0 of you will not have the issue. Oh, there's no version 2. Okay, too bad. This is another set of techniques. So you see the guy there with this wonderful, colorful picture over his belly. This guy is invisible. Invisible to AI. This is called adversarial picture. You can wear it on a t-shirt or somewhere, and because of this special pattern, which is not that special anyway, you just hide from the AI. So basically speaking, the guy can move, face the camera in a different way, totally invisible. And at a certain moment in time, look, he's just going to move it. And as he starts touching it, now this is a guy. And he's nowhere, invisible man. Okay? This is happening today. You find a lot of scientific articles all over the web about this kind of stuff, adversarial picture. Okay? So guys, back to the topic. Am I fearing about the artificial intelligence replacing me? No. First of all, I'm too old. Nobody will replace, well, maybe you'll have ISTQB president being an AI in a couple of years, but not yet. Not in my time. There are things that AI are doing better than we do. And this is being fast, being able to cope with loads of data, classify, order, count, group, and compare, and help us in making decisions. We are much better in defining requirements. Well, sometimes, because it's still a big part of the issue that we're facing today. We are very good at ambiguity, and I will come to that in a minute. We are very good at empathy. I have not much time to tell you about empathy, but basically speaking, robots are not able to be empathetic. On the contrary, if you're facing a robot like Sofia, you develop empathy quite quickly for her. And this is the danger, and this is the danger of the game. Remember the game I said, Detroit Become Human. This is the whole question. Is it still, and this is the question of ex machina as well, is it a robot or is it a human being. And the more it becomes or it behaves a little bit through AI like a human being, the more we would tend to consider this as human being and develop empathy. And this is the risk. And making decision, I still think that we are superior in making decision. Human being is very difficult to code, is very difficult to embrace, is very difficult to understand. We do stupid things, but it's part of the game. Okay? Yes. A couple of examples about the ambiguity. This one is a true story. They were engineers, Second World War, and these guys were just looking at how they could improve the resistance of their planes when getting to fire. And all the planes that came back to the base were just analyzed with regards to the number of impact they got, and the red dots that you see on the plane are the impacts. They were hit. And these engineers said, well, let's reinforce the top and the wings and the tails. And it was one statistician there that said, no, guys, no, this is not it. We will reinforce all but that, because these planes came back to us. So this is good enough. All the rest, all the missing data, are the ones who fell. Ambiguity. Can you write a number or think, oh, sorry, I clicked too fast. I just spoiled the joke. I'm not good this morning. A number that comprises 1, 1, 1, 2, and 3, 4. These are a subset of the possible answers. This is something that we can understand as human beings. I just wonder how these AI specialists would code that. I've got another joke. My therapist told me to write hate letters to the people I disliked and burn them. I did it and it helped me a lot. But basically now I have a question, what do I do with the letters? This is ambiguity. We understand the joke. How will we teach that to a computer? So guys, the tester must awaken. Our job will change because AI is there and will be there and will transform the way we work. But we have a value. We have an added value that a computer will never be able to bring. And I'm not reluctant to say will never be able to bring. That is this communication, liaison, empathy, social skills, creativity, art. I've seen some articles saying that AI is able to do art. Not true. AI is able to copycat. AI is able to tune. AI is able to play Bach in a certain way, but this is not art. Art is a feeling. Art, there's an idea behind. Art is creativity. This is not computer game. It cannot be programmed. I'm not even sure it can be explained, by the way. So guys, testers have still a future. Welcome to the brand new AI. It will work on track 2.0. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Oliver. Questions?
Okay, I use my Google Story to find it because I always think that this part is going from old times, but it goes on from William Shakespeare. Well, in your talk, you said that the most important part are data.
Yes.
So that's from Shakespeare, it's not me. Who is watching over those who are guarding Caesar? In other words, who will be responsible for the data we must take into account, or who are, or not? We as testers?
I think we have a big responsibility in there. We have a responsibility to make sure that we reach the goal. And the goal might be evil, by the way. Because if you look at these big GAFA stuff, like Facebook, the name of the game is to gather your data. Now, as a tester, you might be willing or not willing to play in this game, but you have to make sure that you understand the ins and outs, and you have to make sure that you understand the stake of what you're doing. It cannot be by error that you just use biased data or just not use the right data. So basically speaking, as today, by the way, because there's no big change from what we're doing today. What we're doing today is creating test scenarios and creating test sets, test procedures, test whatever you like, depending on how you name that. And we use data to validate or to verify some stuff. This is exactly the same, but with a totally different scale. So we have a part of responsibility. We have a role to play in there in selecting the right data and avoiding the wrong data and avoiding the biases. Then, of course, who is gathering the data, what is done with the data, it's not our responsibility. This is responsibility of the company. And how the data is used to develop and train the AI is maybe not our responsibility, but might be the data scientist or the data analysis or the data programmer or whatever that are making these AIs go around. But we have a responsibility of tester to make sure that we reach the objective. And hopefully, but this is another discussion about ethics, if this goal is, good enough to fight for.
So your solution, for me your solution looks like this. It's also an example from literature. Word of disk, there is a super genius, Leonardo something, I don't remember exactly. Oh, sorry. There was a genius called Leonardo, and Patricius, the person who is politics. He put him in the room, closed, and the only person who has contact with him and what he invented was politics.
Yep.
Don't you think that you are in the same way, that between what's wrong, what's bad, and human stupidity, sorry to say, are also stupid humans?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're so fascinated by the technology that we just forget everything that is around. And everything that is around is ethics, that is, philosophy, that is what makes us human. And the problem is that because we rely, remember that story about people relying more on a computer than on their boss. It really puzzles me,
But according to this sentence, maybe this more describes these human beings as scumbags. Not that I trust more robots, but I hate my supervisor.
Definitely this is the problem. Definitely this is the problem. But the solution they bring is so shortcutted, it's so, it's unbelievable, huh? Change your boss, that is fine. You have a problem with your boss, and well, basically everyone hates having a boss. That's okay, agreed upon, there's no problem. But guys, just getting to a computer and saying, yeah, the computer will be better. Wow.
So thanks so much for the talk, by the
Welcome.
way. I do have a rather critical question.
Sure.
Right at the beginning, you've mentioned that you cannot really talk about the technical specifics of, for example, machine learning, intelligence, computer system, and so on and so forth. That's fine. But then you're making really strong arguments such as an AI cannot deal with absurdity, cannot deal with creativity, for example, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
These are strong arguments. So my question is, what is your killing argument that a machine is in principle not capable of doing that?
Let me tell you. Let me answer this one because it's very easy, and the same goes with empathy. Can you define love? If you cannot define love for you might be something. For me, this is totally something else. Our feelings, our emotions can be some sort of way monitored and understood from a biological point of view. You have oxytocin, you have this endorphin, you have all these kind of molecules running around your body if you're happy, if you're in love, if blah, 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 okay? This is just biology. It doesn't tell anything about your feeling, doesn't tell anything about your thoughts. This is, at this moment in time, nearly impossible to predict, nearly impossible to describe in a proper way. We have scientific way to look at that. If we're talking about emotion, you have Paul Ekman had done, Lie to Me, the series Lie to Me, rings a bell? The guy who is able to say, just looking at your face, you're lying to me, okay? This is based upon Paul Ekman's work. And this guy has defined that everywhere around the world, so here in Poland, in Japan, in North Pole, in Central Africa, everywhere around the world, there are 6 or 7 basic emotions, and they are always expressed the same on our face. If I'm angry, you can say, yeah, I'm angry. And an angry man in Japan is looking like the same in Poland, in Belgium, everywhere in the world, okay? And you have this micro expression. When you get a question that you do not expect or something like that, you have this first micro expression, which might be anger, happiness, contempt, whatever, and then you come to your poker face, if you wish to, and if you wish to hide, okay? But this is even not enough. This is not telling what you think. This is not telling about your emotion. This is just an expression of the emotion. And you can combine this, but you can never define something like love. I would give my life for my wife and children, but maybe love is something totally different for you. So basically speaking, this notion, we cannot even define it on our own. So how the hell would we expect to define this in a way that a computer could understand that and feel that and react with that? I don't know.
There's one more coming.
I'm a little bit skeptical if you ask me if artificial intelligence will take my job, but what can scare me is a connection between the data and the humans.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago there was a conference and there was a guy who were presenting their results about a kind of audit in the factory. So what they did, they came into the factory, they collect the data, they analyze it, they give the recommendation to the owner. The owners were very happy because they save a lot of money, but when there were a Q&A session, they say that in the same time after they audit, the owner of the company fired thousands of employees because they were needed there, and there were no AI behind that decision. It was just a human decision. So right now, I think that this should be a problem for us, not some AI. Thanks.
Okay, I think it's more a statement than a question, right? Yeah, what I can say is that AI will happen. Whatever we do, AI will be there and will hopefully help us in what we're doing. The responsibility we have and the danger or the stake of introducing AI everywhere is exactly what you point out, which is the usage of data. If you're just using or misusing data to favor, differences, or to create a big gap in the society because you increase the difference between, the gifted one or the poor ones or whatever the kind of bias that you can introduce, I think that we have a responsibility to just monitor that, to create the awareness and to make sure that it doesn't happen if this is not what we want. And definitely this is not what I want.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.